Hey everyone! Today we're looking at an awesome story with Jesus that comes to us out of John 5. And I'll start here in verse 1. John 5:1. Sometime later, Jesus went up to Jerusalem for one of the Jewish festivals. Now there is in Jerusalem near the sheep gate a pool, which is in Aramaic is called Bethesda, and which is surrounded by 5 covered colonnades. Here a great number of disabled people used to lie: the blind, the lame, and the paralyzed. One who was there had been an invalid for 38 years. When Jesus saw him lying there and learned that he had been in this condition for a long time, he asked him, "Do you want to get well?" "Sir," the invalid replied, "I have no one to help me into the pool when the water is stirred. When I am trying to get in, someone else goes ahead of me." And then Jesus said to him, "Get up, pick up your mat, and walk." At once the man was cured, and he picked up his mat and walked. The day on which this took place was a Sabbath. So the Jewish leaders said to the man who had been healed, "It is the Sabbath. The law forbids you to carry your mat." I love so many parts of this story. I love that this man who had been in despair for so long, and Jesus was able to come and show him love and care, and it changed his life forever. This man had been paralyzed for how long? It said 38 years. And Jesus' question to him was, "Do you want to get well?" I just love the audacity of Jesus to ask that question to someone who had come here every day for years looking to get healed. And so Jesus triggers him in that moment saying, "Do you want to get well?" And just asking him like the most blunt, bold question. Do you really want to get better? I think Jesus asked me this question a lot, and it kind of wakes me up. Like, do you want to get well, Kyle? Like, do you want to get well in that area of your life, or are you just going to resign to what it has been? Resign to less than I've wanted to do in you? More is available. And we have to remain hungry for those things that God wants to do in our life. We have to remain hungry for getting well in so many areas of our life. In our relationship with God, in our family, in our calling, in our marriage, in our parenting. All these areas that we need to get well. And so I love that Jesus, he spoke into this man who was in despair. And he triggered him saying, do you really want to get well? And you can see the man doesn't even say yes. The man just tells him his problem. I love this. This guy just said, "I'm going to tell you my problem." And so there was this story at the time. We don't know if this is true or not. The text doesn't tell us. That when the water was stirred, the first person into the water would get healed. We don't know if this is true or not, but what we do know is this man believes it because he'd been trying to do this and he wasn't able to do it. What do we know about this man? Well, I see this man as a man of faith. He had faith in the wrong thing, but this was a man of faith. How much faith does it take to show up every day and do the same thing in hope that it's going to happen, that it's finally one day going to happen? And so I love that Jesus gave him an opportunity to have faith in the right thing. This man met Jesus, and you'll see his life is different because of it. Regardless, what we do here is Jesus healed this man very quickly, right? Look at what it says. 8 words. Get up, pick up your mat, and walk. It didn't need to be this big ceremony with a bunch of, magic phrases. It was, hey, get up, pick up your mat, and walk. And I love that it can be so simple with Jesus. When Jesus wants to do something, we just have to be willing. We just have to say yes. And we can ask Jesus and pray for Jesus. If the timing isn't right, it's not going to happen. But if the timing is right, and if it's in alignment with what Jesus wants to do, he can do more in 8 words than we can do in 38 years of trying. And I want to point out the response of the Pharisees. This man, who had been in despair, who had been paralyzed, he was healed. his whole life was different. He had hope again. He could dream again. He could have relationships with people again. He could move out of this area that he had been camped in for years. And here's what the Pharisees wanted to know. What day is it? Is it the Sabbath day? Because if it's the Sabbath day, you can't heal on the Sabbath day. That's working. And I love just how little Jesus cares about what day it is. The Pharisees were so upset, and Jesus, his concern was, I want to make this man well. And so as I look at that, I go, you know what? I don't want to be like the Pharisees. That when God does something great, I start asking the wrong questions. I start looking at the wrong thing. I want to look at what Jesus does. I want to have my eyes open. I want to be willing and available, and I want to cooperate with exactly what Jesus wants to do. And so I invite you to think about that. Is there an area in your life where you can open up to Jesus, cooperate with what he's doing? Don't miss the main thing that he wants to communicate. I know that might sound simple. It's a matter of attention. Are we turning our attention on Jesus? Because when we do, again, more is possible in 8 words than in 38 years. So I'm praying for you today as you continue to get to know Jesus this month. I love what we're able to do here together, and my life's being changed, and I hope that your life is being changed, and that this month is really giving you a lot of encouragement. All right, love you, church family, and we'll see you tomorrow for another encounter. Bye.